it's the crew. Chance. Damn it, Chance. What's poppin', Crew Nation? You already know who it is, what it is, and what we do, baby. It is your boy Jay, and today we are talking about Chance the Rapper again. Now, if you tuned in to us last time, we were speaking on Chance the Rapper and how he was scheduled to headline a Christian event, and as of this video, he has not been pulled from headlining said Christian event. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, now why would he be pulled? Why would he be pulled? Now, if you paid attention at all to social media, current events, I don't know what to call this, but he was recently seen in a video getting that thing thanged on him.
Chance the Rapper said it's his birthday.
Now, look, before we get into all of this, according to him, or according to several reports that are coming out, it was his birthday. This is during Carnival. So, there are a lot of moving parts. No pun intended. There are a lot of moving parts when it comes to this. We're going to get through this and try to figure this thing out. Now, why is it a problem? Some of y'all are probably listening like, yo, this doesn't mean much. And other people are like, yeah, like, yo, we'll get to it. So, again, Chance the Rapper is supposed to be headlining this Christian event put on by FTS at Oklahoma University, where he is going to be performing with Chandler Moore, Carrie Job, and speaker Nick Hall. Now, as you can imagine, because of the type of music that Chance the Rapper makes, not everybody was really on board with him doing this. So there was a lot of kind of backlash and people saying that they weren't going to go and different things like this. And I put on my CHH Superman cape, CHH Christian hip hop for those that don't know, Superman cape, and I defended him. I was like, hey, he's spoken a lot about his faith. I just can't believe that I have to come back and do this. He's spoken a lot about his faith. He knows God for himself. He's married. He's a one-woman man. He stopped doing certain things in order to have a closer relationship with God. Like, he tried to make a semi-gospel album. He said the name of Jesus publicly and different things like that. And I'm like, hey, let him do this. Like, this is okay. This is kind of in his wheelhouse. Like, there are people that enjoy Christian music that also enjoy Chance the Rapper, or people who are Christians that also enjoy Chance the Rapper. And, a lot of people just really didn't get with that. And I was hoping that we was going to get to the point, we were going to get to the show. We were going to get to the show, and it was going to be dope, and we were going to be like, Chance didn't let us get there, so let's just dive into it. So there's a viral video going around where he is dancing with a woman at Carnival in Jamaica. As you all know, that it's Carnival season, and a lot of the celebrities were popping out and being out there and having a great time. But there's a specific video where the thing is thangin', and he is there enjoying his best life, and people are like, oh no, I can't believe that. See, this is what I'm talking about. Now, for those of you all that like, well, he was just enjoying Carnival, like, this is what happens. Well, I think that the issue is the fact that he's married. He made an entire project about his marriage called The Big Day, and now people are going back and forth and having this debate on whether or not this is something he should be doing. And now people are saying, see, this is why you shouldn't be headlining a Christian event, blase, this, that, and the third, so on and so forth. Whatever those extra cliches are that you guys love to mention in these scenarios, right? And I really didn't know how to take this. When I first saw the video, I'm like, you know what? We're not doing this. Nope, we're not doing this. Not today. But as time went on, I'm like, all right. I put on my Superman cape to defend Chance. Now I have to come through and kind of have this conversation. Okay. I really don't know where to begin with this. Because there are two sides of the coin here. Now, those who are of Jamaican descent and those who understand the culture, Jamaican culture, and understand the culture of Carnival, people are like, hey, he take a wine, she take a wine, then everybody moved on. Like, that's how people are kind of putting it out there. But then there are other people that's like, well, he's married, so in no circumstance should that be okay. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get that. I'm married. And if that was my situation, then at that point, I don't think that, I would be sleeping in the same bed as my wife for a little bit. So, hey, I understand that, right? So I'm kind of like, he hasn't came out and said anything about this. His wife hasn't came out and said anything about this. And I think that that's the key. But I believe that both sides have a point. If culturally this is what this is, like, I've been around these things before. I've seen these things happen. Women, they're in a club, they like to dance, they dance and they move on. There's no attachment to it. And that's the end. They're with their girls and that's the end. There's no attachment. But when you are married, there's a different level of there is a different level of things. There's a different plateau of things that are and are not appropriate. Like when you are single, there are certain things that you can do that would be deemed, oh, it's appropriate. There's nothing attached there. You're single, okay. But when you're in a relationship, there are certain things that are frowned upon. And this is by the American public. This is one of those things. And I don't know how to actually take this, right? I don't know if we go off of the Jamaican culture side and say, hey, this is what happens. No, it wasn't like he was having sex with the woman. Like he was just enjoying his birthday and, moved on about his life. They probably didn't even see each other again after that, right? But the American culture side of this, and, it's kind of like, yeah, but you're still married, right? You can still enjoy your birthday in a different way. But that's not my place to say because, again, his wife hasn't came out and said anything, nor has Chance the Rapper made a statement. But it is kind of interesting. Now, a lot of people want me to get on here and be like, hey, you should condemn him and say that he shouldn't be headlining a Christian event. I ain't gonna do that because I already got my tickets and I'm gonna go watch Chance the Rapper regardless. But the thing is, the purpose is still the same. The fact of the matter is Chance the Rapper was a part of hip hop culture before he started to be announced that he was headlining this Christian event. There were certain things that a lot of people didn't agree with before headlining this Christian event, and these, this is just something to add to the plate. But the fact of the matter is, I like to think of it like this. We all have done things, and those who are a part of church culture, those who are a part of church culture, those who consider themselves Christians, I am sure there was a time that on Saturday night you did something and you went to church on Sunday. Or you went to church on Sunday and you got yourself into something that Sunday night, right? So there are plenty of times that we have done things and then went and spoke to God immediately. Like there are plenty of times that we have done things and didn't deserve to have the positions or be put in the places that we were put in because of the way that we lived our life 2 hours before it happened, or a day before it happened, or a week before it happened. So I don't think that we should come out with the X immediately. Does it look a little bad? Look, man, I'd be lying if I'd say it didn't. I'd waited a couple days to say anything because I didn't know what to say or how to kind of spin this, right? But honestly, I just got on there and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna just call it like it is. If this is, because again, the Jamaicans are coming out and they're saying, yo, this is just a part of the culture. Nothing is attached to it. People are just having fun and they go about their business. If that is in fact the case, then let that be the case. However, there is a level of respect for your significant other that needs to be portrayed or needs to be shown. Now, again, his wife hasn't came out and said anything. Maybe there was a conversation beforehand. He was like, yo, babe, I'm going to Carnival. You already know how it gets down, but you already know it ain't about to be nothing like that. And she was like, yeah, okay, go enjoy your birthday. It's your birthday. Live it up. Like, you know, you get a hall pass, right? Remember that movie? Like, maybe that was the conversation. Or maybe the conversation was like, yo, I'm going to Carnival. You already know how they get down. Hey, look, you better not be out there acting up. You better not embarrass me. Right? There's a thing. You better not embarrass me. And this is the form of secondhand embarrassment because it's all about public perception, right? It's all about how other people see you. It's all about what society thinks of you. It doesn't matter if you've had the conversation before on one hand and what you and your wife have said. And as a couple, that should matter, right? It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks, but because you are a celebrity, because you are in the spotlight, because you have a lot of these things going for you, then everybody is going to have their mouth on you. Pause. The fact of the matter is, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I want him to still headline the event. Again, I'm going. I would love to see Chance the Rapper. I don't know if I'm ever going to see Chance the Rapper again, especially for free, right? So I don't mind him still going to this event, but I do believe that there will be a conflict of opinions when it comes to this, as there already were. I just believe that they are now gaining more steam, and now people have more reason to say why he shouldn't be. Again, if we're basing this on the culture of the event, then at that point, it was what it was. He was just having a good time. And I don't know. I don't know. If we're basing it off of American culture and him being married and you want to portray the quote unquote Christian standards, then okay. I'm pretty sure most of the married men that are listening, most of the married women that are listening are saying that that is a no-go. However, if it is a part of your culture, it is a little bit different. There are some cultures that allow polygamy, right? There are some cultures where more than one spouse is in fact allowed, or more specifically more than one wife is in fact allowed, and no one bats an eye. And that's another thing that, you're like, whoa, the way it's supposed to be done, one man, one wife, like how does that coincide with Christian values? But if it's a part of their culture, I think it's a little bit different, right? American culture, it is different. One man, one wife, like there are literally laws set in place to prevent polygamy, right? So in the married standpoint, so with that being said, you can't go against the law of the land, but if you live somewhere else, and that's more or less your culture, then at that point it is what it is. We know in the Bible people had a bunch of wives, right? So it's kind of hard to pinpoint where we kind of want to go with this. I remember a guy who used to tell me, he was an older gentleman, and we used to have conversations all the time about Christianity and culture and different things like that. And he said, in order to understand the Bible, there are a couple of things that you need to understand, or there are a couple of things that you need to recognize. And he said, you got to understand biblical history, right? And then you have to understand cultural history, understand what things were permitted because of the culture that they were involved in, or because of the culture of that time. So it's kind of hard to say what's right or wrong in this instance, because if he had a conversation with his wife and his wife was cool with it, then at that point I ain't got nothing to say. I mean, that's between them. As far as whether or not he should still be headlining the event, as I stated, I have no problem with him still headlining the event. People go through stuff, people do things, and we shouldn't cast them by the wayside. We always preach forgiveness and different things like that, but I'm not even sure that this warrants that deep of a conversation or that deep of a step, because we don't know necessarily the conversation that was had beforehand. If you're not a part of that culture, you don't understand whether or not there's any attachments here. But there are people who are Jamaican that's like, nah, he's married. That's different. So I don't know, man. But why don't you all let me know what you all think? Hit that like button, hit that red subscribe button, put it in the comments. Should Chance the Rapper still be able to headline this Christian event? Is it all much to do about nothing? Or should he kind of sit and see where this goes? You already know who it is, what it is, and what we do, baby. It's your boy Jay, and it's on.